Professor Zextul's tentacles trembled as she sealed the restricted archives deep within the Galactic Academic Consortium's most secure vault. The crimson warning labels glowed ominously in 17 different languages. But the most important message was simple: human historical records, authorized personnel only, psychological hazard. She had spent 3 cycles reviewing the application from young Kreenax, a promising doctoral candidate in comparative species development. Like so many before him, the eager student wanted to study the species that had somehow catapulted from primitive tool users to galactic powerhouses in mere millennia. The request was denied, as they always were. "Professor?" Kreenax's voice chirped through her office communicator. "I don't understand the rejection. My academic standing is exemplary, and human studies would greatly benefit my dissertation on rapid evolutionary adaptation." Zextul's primary eye stalks drooped. How could she explain what she had witnessed during her own forbidden research decades ago? How could she describe the sleepless nights, the constant anxiety, the way human history had fundamentally altered her understanding of what sapient beings were capable of? "Join me in Archive Room Theta 7, she said finally. "It's time you understood why we protect our students from this knowledge." An hour later, Kreenax stood before a single, innocuous data crystal. His bioluminescent patches flickered with curiosity as Zextul engaged the room's most advanced psychological monitoring systems. "This contains just 1 decade of human history," she began, her voice heavy with resignation. "Earth calendar 1939 to 1949. Before we begin, understand that I am breaking 17 academic protocols and possibly violating 3 galactic treaties." The holographic display flickered to life and Kreenax gasped. The first images showed a species that looked deceptively fragile, bipedal, soft-skinned, lacking any obvious natural weapons or defenses. Then the data began to unfold. "In this single decade," Zextul narrated, watching her students' reaction carefully, "humans fought what they called a world war. Note the casualty figures." Kreenax's patches dimmed to a sickly orange. 60 million deaths? That's more than the total population of my homeworld. Surely this is an error. No error. And observe, while they were killing each other with unprecedented efficiency, they simultaneously achieved breakthrough advances in medicine, technology, and engineering. They split the atom, developed computing machines, and created weapons capable of destroying entire cities. The young student's breathing apparatus began working overtime. "That's impossible. No species can maintain such cognitive dissonance. The stress alone should have caused societal collapse. Wait, there's more." Zextul advanced the display. "Notice how, even during their most brutal conflicts, humans maintained arts, literature, and music. They wrote love letters from battlefields. They shared food with enemies. They risked their lives to save members of other species, including several early galactic survey teams." Kreenax stumbled backward. "You're describing mass psychopathy combined with unprecedented altruism. That level of contradiction shouldn't be sustainable in any sapient species." "And yet," Zextul continued relentlessly, "this was merely 1 decade in their history. For millennia, they have displayed this same pattern. They create beauty while orchestrating destruction. They show infinite compassion while demonstrating boundless cruelty. They are capable of love so profound it transcends death, and hatred so intense it spans generations." The monitoring systems began alarming as Kreenax's stress levels spiked dangerously. His patches had gone completely dark, and his respiratory rate was approaching critical thresholds. "Professor, please stop," he whispered. "This is too much. How do they function? How do they sleep knowing what they're capable of?" "That's the question that has haunted every scholar who has studied them," Zextul replied, powering down the display. "But here's what truly terrifies the academic consortium. They don't just function, they thrive. Every atrocity teaches them to be better. Every tragedy strengthens their resolve. They learn from their failures with a speed that defies comprehension." Kreenax was now exhibiting signs of acute psychological distress. But the other species, the Veltar, the Quantum Collective, the Hive networks, they all achieved interstellar travel through different paths, gradual development, collective consciousness, technological gifts from elder races. How did humans? They bootstrapped themselves, Zexthul said quietly. No guides, no mentors, no gradual introduction to cosmic citizenship. They went from throwing stones to manipulating quantum fields in the span of their species' adolescence. And they did it while constantly fighting among themselves. The medical monitors were now screaming warnings. Zexthul quickly administered a mild sedative to her student and began the memory suppression protocol that would erase this conversation from his mind. Why? Kreenax asked, his voice already growing distant as the drugs took effect. Why do you keep this knowledge from us? Zexthul's tentacles curled in what might have been interpreted as a sad smile. Because, young one, once you truly understand what humans are capable of, both the horror and the beauty, you can never look at your own species the same way again. You begin to wonder if we're all just children playing at civilization while the humans are something else entirely. As Kreenax slipped into unconsciousness, Zexthul began the familiar process of filing another denial report. The human files would remain sealed. The students would remain ignorant, and the galaxy would continue to underestimate the species that had somehow weaponized their own contradictions into the most terrifying force the universe had ever seen. Outside her office window, a human trade vessel docked peacefully with the station, its crew ready to offer medical aid, cultural exchange, and technological advancement to anyone who asked. Tomorrow, that same crew might be defending their colonies, with a ferocity that would make the ancient warrior castes of Zerion weep with envy. Zexthul sealed the archives once more and returned to her office. Some knowledge was simply too dangerous to share, especially when it concerned a species that had turned their own duality into their greatest strength. The humans would continue to be humanity's greatest advocates and their own worst enemies, and the galaxy would be safer never fully understanding why that combination made them unstoppable.